Hey guys, Matt here from Herbal House. Today we're going to be looking at the Eclipse Elite grow tent in the 1.2 metre by 1.2 metre by 2 metre tall size. This is probably the most popular size we have here, and it's featuring the extra thick SBS zips and mylar interior. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the box, we're going to show you how to set it up and run through any do's and don'ts. Cutting the straps carefully. And while it says here, do not cut with a blade if you do choose to, like I'm doing, be extra careful not to cut through the canvas. Simply just slicing the ends to lift the top of the box, lifting the top edge so you're not going to cut through any material, and just gently, very gently, cutting that with a blade. What we'll do is we'll run through the contents of the box, and I'll pull everything out. You're going to expect to have 8 corners. Big old bundle of poles. Filter fan hanging straps. And canvas. So what we'll do is we'll run through basically how to put the frame together first, and then fitting the canvas around it, and then finally the drip tray. We start with the corner pieces to build the base of the frame, using the number 1 poles to connect between the corners, allowing us to construct our base. From there we start with the number 3 and number 4 poles to begin the vertical uprights. From there we'll attach the corners to those vertical uprights, interconnecting with the number 2 poles to build the ceiling. And the 5 and 6 poles are for supporting your equipment. So what we're going to do is set up the base of the tent. The instructions do suggest using number 1s and 2 poles for the tent, but I find just using number 1s is perfectly fine because they are the same size, at least in the case of the 120/120 tent. So what we're going to do is start with 4 corners to help make the base. Ensure that these plastic caps are facing down as the base, and what we're going to do is just start with one of these and pretty much just clip it in. Simple as that. And the final corner. So what this is going to do is build the base for you to build off and build up for the 120/120 tent. And next step is the number 3 poles. So I'll grab those now. So moving on to the number 3 poles, what we're going to do is just insert these into the uprights. Nice and easy. Now there are 2 holes on the top of the connector. It really doesn't matter which one you use in this instance. And that's your uprights. And then moving on from there, we're going to add the number 4 poles on top of those number 3s. So in regards to putting the number 4 poles on top, they have a female end and a male end. You want to ensure you're using the female end, of course. And that is just going to simply slip over the top there and snap in. So now that we've got the 3s and 4s assembled, we're now going to look at putting the roof structure together and then finally fitting the canvas. So what we're going to do is install the corners. Same story as the base. You're going to ensure that the plastic cap is facing up in this case. And you're just going to slip that on there, push the pin, drop it in. Sweet, so now that we've got the connectors on each corner, we're now ready to connect to the number 2 poles. Cool, so now that we've got the number 2 poles connected into the corners, this is pretty much the frame set up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to move this out of the way and we're going to pull out the canvas, unroll it and show you how it all goes together. So here we have the bundle of canvas, and in here is the drip tray as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to carefully tear open the packaging. So in here you will find the drip tray, the tool bag. Now this drip tray is designed to go inside the tent. A few people seem to mess that one up. And here is the main canvas. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll this out and we're basically going to sit the frame inside this canvas. Pretty much with this canvas, we want to make sure that we unzip it and open it right up so we can put the frame inside. So starting with the top of the canvas here, we're going to ensure that this is unzipped. We are going to open this up the whole way along the canvas. The zip for the centre starts at the bottom, so we're going to make sure we unzip that and open it right up. An easy way to identify the top of the tent is simply by finding those two logos. They will always be at the top of the tent. You can't go too wrong. So we're going to start at the base of the tent here, basically just opening it up by unzipping all the zips you can pretty much find, and this one up the centre here. A little bit tricky with it laying down, of course, because you don't particularly want to stand on the canvas or damage anything. This is the idea. This one's right to the top. What I do is open that right up. Pretty much with the base, this is where we're going to start because I'm just on my own, so we're going to try and make it as easy as for one person to do it, but you can certainly get help from a friend. The idea is, with the base set up like this, we can essentially drag the frame on top and pull it around it. Pace to start with, getting one corner in just here, and essentially working your way around, pulling it tight. It will be a tight fit, but it will go. Just like that, that's the base of the tent. So for the sake of you guys, we're going to try and make this a little easier. We're going to just fold this up and spin it around, so hopefully it makes a little more sense for you guys. So just bear with me for a minute. So back to where we were. We've got the base sitting with the frame inside of it. We're just going to ensure this is all unzipped and opened up. So we're going to start by peeling this side open. Try not to step on the canvas. We've already made this one nice and dirty from the concrete floor. Open this up. And we're going to ensure the top, which obviously has the logos there, we're going to ensure that this is unzipped as much as possible. This is going to allow us to pull straight over the top of the tent, just like we did with the base. Firstly, lay the canvas out flat on the ground. Then pull up the canvas, making sure the back corners match up with the back of the tent frame. Then pull the canvas over the top to the other side and tightly secure the corners within the canvas. Lastly, zip up the sides to complete the setup. So you can pin these front doors back, nice and easy with the hooks at the top of the door, just clipped onto there. That'll keep them out of the way when you're setting it up. So next step is to install the drip tray. This is designed to be internal of the tent, not external. This is going to ensure that any runoffs are caught and not leaking everywhere pretty much. So what you want to do is ensure that the Velcro straps are pretty much secured around the corner poles, and what that's going to do is keep the drip tray in a good position and keep it from moving around. So we're just going to set that up now. The drip tray features Velcro straps in each corner. Pulling these tightly around the pole and fastening it back onto the drip tray, pushing it down into the base will ensure the drip tray stays in position. It is a little bit tricky when you are standing on it, but that's the idea. The shape of this drip tray is obviously folded up how it came in the box, but this shape will start to relax after time. So finally, what we're going to do is pretty much install the last poles we have, which is the number 5 and 6 poles. I find it's easier to start with the number 5 pole as it is a little shallower. The easiest way to install them is pretty much putting them in diagonally for the tent and rotating them around until they hook over the top. Now you can set these up pretty much any way you'd like to support the equipment you're installing. I don't believe there is any right or wrong way, simply whatever suits you. So in this case I'm going to go one that way and one this way. Excuse my gumbiness. One there It's a little tight on the canvas, one there. So this is going to allow you to hang your equipment from it. It's going to add more rigidity to the tent, and most of all, you can set it up to suit you. So to close off the tent, you've got pretty much 5 zippers to work with. You've got 2 at the top of each door, which I'll show you now. These tents feature the European T-door design. We find it's best to not pull the top zippers and bottom zippers all the way in before centering the center zip. The main reason for that is it puts a lot of strain on the stitching, fatiguing the tent faster than it needs to. This is going to allow you to finish those off. The zips are going to free up with time just because they've been freshly pulled out of the box. Everything's a little bit crinkled, but it will straighten up over the coming weeks. Last but not least, Eclipse do include filter straps or fan straps. You can pretty much hang equipment off any of the structure here using these straps. They do also include a tool bag. This has 2 hooks on it, so you can pretty much hang that anywhere off the structure, just like so. Now, you can pretty much put anything you need to hang in there. Some people use it, some people don't, but it does give you the versatility to store a little bit more equipment inside the tent. Okay, so that's pretty much a tutorial for how to put together a 120 by 120 by 200 Eclipse Elite tent. Now, the Elite and the Polar series will be pretty much exactly the same. The only differences will be the canvas. When you go into the larger sizes of tents, the pole numbers will vary and the connectors will be different, of course. So what we'll quickly do is explain some of the key features that this tent has, starting with pretty much the SBS thick tooth zip that you can see along there. Super rigid, should be able to take a beating for many years. And of course we have the access holes on either side of the tent. Now when the tent is zipped up, you can of course have a look through the viewing window that we have on the front of the tent, and that'll allow you to pretty much have a glimpse at what's going on inside the tent without having to open it. The bug screens in the lower portion of the tent are an easy way to let fresh air in without any pests getting through. However, please pay attention as this can allow light getting into the tent during daylight hours, which might ruin your plant's sleep cycle. The Eclipse Elite tent featured in this video is $290 including delivery. We do also have the Polar series featuring the white PE liner for $350 including delivery. All of these products do include our Herbal House 2-year warranty. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call or reach us at herbals.co.nz. Thanks all for watching. There'll be more videos to come in the near future. Our details are in the description below. Give us a call and we'd love to hear from you. See you next time.